All right, everybody. Haven't done many or any videos of this car. I can't remember, but anyway, this has been the project for the last few months, along with finishing up the Monte Carlo convertible. The Monte convertible will be gone home Memorial Day or shortly thereafter, and I'll do a final video of that car. But I would say on to the next project, but we've almost got this done as well. So what we got here is a 56 210. You can see single chrome, 210 four-door hardtop. And what I wanted to talk a little bit about is some of the fit and the finish of a Tri-5. And this was actually although I've been a Tri-5 enthusiast my whole life, ever since I was a little kid, this is my first one that I've actually done any body and paint on. I have a 57, but it's a pretty nice car, and the only thing I've had to do to it is wet sand and buff it after I bought it. Fit and finish on it's pretty good. This car was wiped out down this whole side, so there was a lot of work on this fender. We got another door, a lot of body work on this door, and it was able to save this quarter panel. A lot of body work here on the getting these curves right, and pretty happy with the gaps overall. I'm gonna have to do probably a little more tweaking on this thing, maybe. So what I'm doing right now is I got the inner fenders where they're gonna be. This is the gray that the car is gonna be, so that kind of looks nice. Contrast of colors here. And then I got this shoved up in here, and I got the fender, a couple bolts in the fender. So this fender at some point had an eyebrow replacement, and then I had to put an eyebrow replacement on this one. Now, doing a test fit earlier on in the restoration, it appeared that we're going to be okay on the gaps, but I did not bolt anything in place. I did not have the inner fenders in place or any of that, so I've held off on painting the edges of the fenders, and I just realized also these edges are not painted, so I got to take care of that. But what we're going to do is we're going to fit that hood. Now, this is a reproduction hood. The old one was all warped up. This is, for anybody wondering, this is Tamco 5310. High build, and Tamco 4100 clear over Tamco gunmetal gray, and a special tri-stage color 2021 Tahoe mixed as a base coat cherry red tint, GM code, and it's covered up now, but anyway. $500 something for a gallon of that red. We took the hood apart. I took the hood apart, painted the braces black. That way there'll be nice contrast there. I got a little cute on this hood and made a mess, so I resanded it and then flow coated a couple extra coats of clear. So it looks pretty good. It'll look nice when it's on the car. So that's where we're I wanted to talk a little bit about is the fit and finish of these Tri-5s. I'll just get right to the point. Unless you're going to spend, an extra several $1,000s working on gaps, spend a little time with them, get them close, and they're going to suit most people. They're not as perfect as the later model GM cars. I'll just go ahead and warn you. So keep that in mind. When you put fender caps on, a big problem with Tri-5s on just about every one, where the hood shuts here, the gaps are always sorry. So I might find myself doing some last minute body work in this area on the hood and the fenders. hopefully this is painted, but if I do end up having to work here, it's not the end of the world because I have other edges I gotta paint. So not a huge problem. Just make sure, you know, of course, masking is done to protect what's painted. But that is what I'm bad about, getting ahead of myself on painting sometimes. But anyway, this is a real problem on these cars. If you look at a lot of them, you'll see it's a major problem. So the hinges, I know were set exactly right. I had spent a lot of time and got the hood gap back there right. So I didn't want to move the hinges. I ended up painting the firewall with the hinges on and then just taped it off and painted the hinges. Again, we're not building a show car here. Body and paint wise, it's gonna be just as nice as anything. But again, where do you draw the line? Okay. If you go to Chevy Nationals or Tri-5 Nationals or wherever else, and you see all these high-end cars and everything's just as slick and smooth and perfect, and these people don't drive these cars, okay? You gotta draw the line somewhere. With that being said, this is the absolute best spray bond paint I've ever used on a chassis. It's Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch, 2x Ultra Cover, paint and primer, Satin Canyon Black. That is what the bottom of that firewall is, the frame and all that. Again, absolute best covering looking spray paint I have used. I will definitely be using more of it, and we just so happened to get it by chance. The guy who owns the car brought it to me. I like hiding ugly. Again, why make all of that pretty and smooth? There's nothing wrong with doing it like the factory did it. We painted the firewall. I didn't smooth the firewall. Hid a lot of the stuff, the factory bumps and dents, and hit it with satin black. Nothing wrong with that at all. Even got a little creative here where you couldn't get the paint gun in there, and I used the black to kind of contrast that. So I'm not saying what I did on this car was right or wrong. This is my first Tri-5 that I've done. I feel like I've done pretty well with it. I also wanted to mention a few other things. The engine is not in this car. Once the hood is fitted, this can be moved. The fenders can be, after it's painted, all this can be bolted down solid. This don't have to be in here. You can leave the fenders on the car, put the drivetrain in. The guy that owns the car is going to put the drivetrain in. Then this can be put in. Of course, this has got to be painted satin black. I'm going to use a gun on this. And then, of course, trunk lid after the car's painted. And then the hood, the good thing about these cars, the hood does not mount to the fenders. So I'm thinking out loud here, but you can do it either way. You can leave the hood off the car to paint, or because there's so much clearance with the hood up and you can go in low with the engine, what I'm going to do, me personally, once I get the car final assembled, ready for paint, these edges will be painted, the hood will be fitted. Before then, on the final assembly before paint, the hood goes back on, bolt the hood down, make sure it clears. All this will be tight, bolted down. This is painted with, it'll be new bolts ready to go. And then you can I'll leave the hood on the car. When it goes back home, the hood will be on the car. He'll just lift it to work on it. It'll be a little more aggravating, but you don't take a chance of gouging a fresh paint job. Been there, done that, no fun. Okay, two-tones. This car is going to be two-tone. It's not just going to be the roof. Okay, it's going to be where the cone, and of course you have to two-tone the door jambs. I think I did good for a first time out there. I did learn something. Tape does not do a good job of staying and keeping paint off. So what I'm going to do from here up is going to be gray. I'm going to take the tape, mask it off, paint the gray, seal it, base it, clear it. Okay. Let that dry for a day or so. Peel the tape. Tape off and mask the now painted area. Seal it, base it, clear it. The red. There'll be a paint line here. No problem, it's covered up. Why am I doing that? Well, if you get base coat, red base coat on gray base coat, you're screwed. You're gonna have to respray a panel. If you get overspray on an already hardened, clear coated surface, when you cut and buff the car, that sands right off, no harm, no foul, no issue. And that's why I'm gonna do it that way. Again, y'all may find a different way. I'm sure other people paint base, then clear it all. That's fine, that's dandy, but that's not the way I'm gonna do it, and I have a reason for that because I just explained it. I would highly recommend, if you're not a master taper or you haven't done this before, you do it my way, because if not, you're gonna screw base coat up, and that's not gonna make you happy. So anyway, hopefully for the novices out there that's working on Tri-5s, this video will help you. Again, this is a little bit different than what I'm normally used to working on. I would say that I will feel way more comfortable working on a Tri-5 now, and I don't have any problem doing another one. I was a little bit nervous about this car because I know how door gaps and stuff. And then when we got into it, it had a lot of damage, it had crash damage. This thing here was all jacked up, and I've got it pretty close. Again, maybe a little bit of work. I also had to do some door fitment here, so I'm going to fix that. But anyway, it's looking good. Paint looks perfect, but it's not. It's got some orange peel. We're gonna cut and buff it. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the videos from the Tri-5 Nationals the other week. I mean, not the Nationals, but the Pigeon Forge show. But we're in this car way over 100 hours now, and I'll explain a little bit about that. I will definitely do another video on this car when it's closer to completion. Hello, Sawyer. It's getting late. I'm going in. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.